If you're anything like me, you give and do too much. Hey love, you think we brought enough? And at the end of the day, you feel exhausted and maybe a little resentful until you start thinking about it, and then you convince yourself that it really wasn't that much that you did and you need to keep doing more, or at least just keep going. Here we talk about the psychology of giving and doing too much and how you can reevaluate what you're doing so you're healthier and happier. Most of us don't sign up to be caregivers. I didn't want to sign up to be a mom. I had convinced myself I didn't want kids. Kids were great, they just weren't for me. And I didn't want to invest the resources that it would take for me to really be a great mom if I was going to be one. For most family caregivers, we don't sign up and say, yay, I can't wait until mom and dad need more help than what they can do for themselves. Or, woohoo, I can't wait to caregive for my partner. No, it sneaks up on you. Or maybe it hits you over the head when something unexpected happens. And it's not usually the case that there's lots of other great options other than you. Sometimes there's only you. Or sometimes it seems like there's nothing else that could really work except for you. So when you don't anticipate the role and don't plan for how it's going to be, it's really easy to get swept up in the process and get swallowed whole. When I found the man that I realized could be a wonderful father, and I could envision myself with him and a family, my thinking changed. Gosh, I do want kids. But I still didn't understand what it would do to me in the context of my perfectionism and my desire to be this great mom. I quickly fell into the habit of putting my life on the back burner and prioritizing everyone and everything else. As we do more and more, the feeling of overwhelm and never-ending tasks builds up. One of my favorite sayings literally is, add it to the list, because it can never all get done. The problem is, as the list grows, people stop being able to deal with it in a healthy way. I recently watched a TED Talk about an ER doctor named Daria Long, and she talks about being crazy busy. Think about life as an ER doctor. If anyone has the ability or right to say that they are crazy busy, it's them with their endless list of people coming in and all these urgent needs. But she doesn't use that term crazy busy and doesn't want us to either. You want to know why? Being in crazy mode makes us less capable of handling being really busy. She talks about stress hormones and frontal lobe or executive functioning where it goes down. Your ability to plan and organize and problem solve and reason and not overreact, out the window. And instead, the parts of your brain that are activated are anxiety and anger prone. So her whole point was that we can change how we react to the demands so you can act more like the calm, cool ER doctors who do handle it all. So what to do? So there's a great book. It's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. It literally has zebras dancing on the cover of it. But it's by Robert Sapolsky, who's a researcher that talks a lot about stress. One point of the book is that zebras prioritize. When a lion shows up, the zebra isn't going to keep thinking about, wow, I really want to have that meal and that grass I'm eating. They're going to run. That's a priority. When the lion goes away, the zebra doesn't sit there and go, boy, I wonder if a lion's coming back. I should think about those lions. They're focusing on what's important then, eating and sleeping. If you don't prioritize, you're looking at everything like it's a lion, constantly stressed. What she said in the TED Talk is that ER docs get to be experts at prioritizing. They label things certain colors. Red. Red is the color of this person will die if I don't attend to it. It is the most important situation. Yellow is this is critical and urgent, but it's not immediately life-threatening. And green is this is minor or less important. You can learn to do this too. Let's list everything that you do for your loved ones. Just making this list may actually surprise you with its length. When I did mine, I was incredibly surprised at how many things I do that I never think about doing. And it really can be validating, just writing everything down. Then go through and label all of the activities. Red, these things must be done of critical urgence and importance. Yellow, there's the medium ones. And green, nice, but not life-threatening, not that big of a deal. Now, as you're labeling, don't be confused by the noise. I'll give you an example from my life. So as we are rushing to get out of the house so that we're on time for school, several things come up at once. I can't find the ear medication for my daughter's ear infection. The cat box suddenly reeks with fresh cat poop, disgusting, and my son is crying hysterically because he can't find his favorite, very favorite blue and yellow jacket that he wears every single day of his life and can't live without. It's easy, for me at least, to feel like every single one of these is a red. I can take care of all of them because I'm supposed to be supermom. In fact, the medicine is the prize, and that's where I should focus. The cat box, it stinks. If this is going to be something that's loud and screaming, it is screaming with the stink level. But it's not that important, I can do it later. My little boy and his desire for the perfect jacket, it pulls at my heartstrings. I want to stop and be supermom and find it for him because that would make me feel great. But this isn't something that has to happen. But the medicine, it really is important. Bottom line is, loudest things are not always red. Another cool part of this categorization system is that when you get to the greens and you think, gosh, I have time to do something that's green, you don't have to be perfect because it's not life-threatening. Now there is one more level to the system, and these can be the trickiest things of all to prioritize. I'm going to call them the gray level. Gray means you can't solve or fix them. You need to take them off your to-do list and allow yourself to grieve. You know what these things are. This might be the family member who doesn't treat your loved one with dementia the way that they really deserve to be treated. This might be a long-standing issue with an old friend that you just couldn't resolve. This might be a different family member with cancer that you can't fix. These are frustrating, heartbreaking things that you personally can't change, and they don't deserve to take up space on your ongoing to-do list. So now we've learned, okay, great, we can prioritize everybody's needs and put them on there so we know which one should be done first. But the second part is that we need to add our own. So first, that means you have to recognize your own needs. As a mother, I got so lost in giving to everybody else, I forgot that I had my own needs. Literally couldn't identify them. I went into therapy and I was like, what could I possibly need? Other than the obvious, like, oh yeah, I need some food to eat, I need a place to live, some basic things for my safety. But otherwise, what do I need? Everything else seemed more like a want rather than a need. And I didn't want to set myself up to feel like I was being selfish. I literally Googled, what do people need? And you know what I came up with? Here's Maslow's hierarchy. Okay, this is literally Psychology 101. It is the basis of, okay, at the bottom there's these physical needs, and then you have your safety needs, and then you have relationship needs, and up it goes, up this big old triangle. I have incorporated these ideas into my psychology practice for years, but I couldn't easily see them for myself. I actually started listing things on a piece of paper, something that I might actually need. But I had to get creative with the words because even saying that I needed something sounded too needy. And so I did play with the words. Finding words that work for you is important. So to help you with this process, I've made a list of things that people often do need as a caregiver, and I've listed them for you. I've linked it below, and you can check it out and use it to see which ones actually pertain to you and keep adding things that I didn't think of. It's often helpful to have a therapist or a counselor help you with this process because sometimes it's just really tricky to do on your own. So if you have or can get one of those, I'd encourage you to use them. So once you have those things on your list, you get to go back to the prioritization, red, yellow, and green. But in this situation, reds aren't the things that are going to kill you. Those are the things that bring you the most joy or the most energy or replenish you. Greens, Those would be lovely and nice and wonderful, but they're not as high on the list. The last step is to add your reds right alongside all the other reds that you've listed for everybody else. And just like the oxygen mask example that they tell you when you get on airplanes, make sure you put on your own oxygen mask first, because if you don't do that, you can't help the little kids and all the people around you later on, because you'll be struggling or dying or dead. I would advocate for the idea that your reds need to be addressed first. So now it's great to have this strategy to focus on prioritizing for yourself and others what needs to be done versus everything that's being demanded of you. But what a lot of caregivers aren't good at is telling people and asking for the help that they need so they don't have to do it all themselves. Watch this video for a specific strategy that you can use to get more help in your daily life. I'll see you there.